All right, let's call this meeting to order.
Sorry, her thing was too quiet. I used to just call my employees.
First, introduction of guests. Sure, here.
Okay.
Please
My name's Dave
introduce
McGrath. I'm the superintendent of Oak Ridge School District.
Dana Brownell, Mackenzie.
Mike Anderson, Presswell, School Board.
Is there anybody else considered guest?
Online we have Anya Ray from LCDA,
Sonia.
as well as Vanessa Truitt, our
Okay, there's that's okay.
vice chair.
Okay. The land accountability acknowledgement. Anyone?
Read it.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome everyone. The ESD acknowledges the lands that we call Lane County, that the lands that sustain our children, our future, and our collective well-being are the traditional ancestral home of the Kalapuya, Siusla, Molalla, and other indigenous people who have lived in Lane County since time immemorial. Native children, families, and communities bear witness to a legacy of displacement and forced relocation. As an educational institution, we are accountable for addressing the current and former silencing, erasure, and genocide of Native people in Oregon and Turtle Island. We aim to join with Indigenous people, honoring their resilience, courage, and self-determination in a purposeful pursuit of justice.
Thank you very much. This is also the opportunity for public participation. Do we have any?
None at this time.
None that we know of? Okay. All right. Well, then we do the agenda review. Is the agenda as presented?
Yes. Yes, it is as presented.
Okay, thank you. Every now and then, instead of having written reports from our senior staff, we ask them to come and tell us in person, mostly just so we don't completely lose touch with you. But we did, I'll give Vanessa and me credit. We said, no, we're not going to put you at the end of the meeting. We're going to put you at the beginning of the meeting. You can leave if you happen to want to. Therefore, I'm going to turn it over to you all and proceed.
So, yeah, we just pop this popcorn out. You're ready. So,
All right.
Brandon. go ahead.
So for IT, we spent the last month focused on replacing our aged phone system. And over break, we swapped out all of the desktop handsets, and that'll be phase one. And then as we go into the summer, we'll have the ability to deploy soft clients on cell phones. And it'll be a little bit easier for those staff that are itinerants. In addition to that, I'm currently putting together a proposal for the superintendents so that they can see exactly all of the services that they subscribe to for the IT team. And we're working hard at reworking some of that language so it's far more palatable and just straightforward instead of tech talk. And so let's see, there was one. Huh? And it's been a busy week for district support. We've been with Bethel both Monday and Tuesday, and we've also helped McKinsey. And Bethel's been having some problems with YouTube and the way it's embedded in slides, and they use that regularly for instructions. So that's been a pretty big issue that we think we got resolved today. McKinsey was having some issues with cutting over to a new website domain name. We helped them with that today as well. So we've been pretty busy providing.
Hey, thank you.
Molly Gillette, our special education director. So we are just coming off an amazing back to school PD yesterday. We had over 180 of our special education department staff here at the ESD. It's the first time we've ever brought everybody together in person. So we made that work with open spaces, rooms, everything. Tech did an amazing job supporting our team, getting everything set up. Brittany Spencer, who is our regional technical coordinator, organized our professional learning. All of our classified staff had options to select kind of a choose your own adventure professional learning. We had our own behavior techs, SLPs, experts in the field from our team chose passion areas to present on. We crossed and collaborated with our school improvement team to provide some mental health support. We worked with Olivia to do some financial literacy for our staff. LCEA was also a participant and presented for our union members. So all in all, it was an amazing day. We had 3 sessions in the morning, 3 sessions in the afternoon. Teams were able to collaborate together. Everyone was here to have a shared lunch, and it was just a really powerful day of learning for our special education department.
Thank you.
All right, hello, Morgan Christensen from HR, and wrote a couple things down so I don't forget. But first, let me start by saying on behalf of the HR team, we'd like to welcome you and say thank you and happy 2026 New Year. And on that note, today it kind of moved into one of our topics about how we can discuss looking forward to things that we want to do for the next 6 months as we support our students and families and staff of Lane ESD. And so I'd like to share with you at least 4 of those key things that we discussed. And not only did HR do this, but we also did this with our partnership with the business team. And so some of those things included getting ready for the upcoming 2026 school year. As we get halfway through the year, we start planning for the next one. And we started to look at calendars, and calendars pretty much help establish what we're going to do every day from the moment we have and maximize that time. We started looking at different planning for events that looking to make not only the rest of this year great, but next year just as fun. We started thinking about a variety of information that we need to communicate with staff as we continue throughout this year, such as wellness resources, any type of legislative updates onto community events that people can get involved in. We also started looking at ways to continue to help foster a positive climate and culture here at our agency through several different activities that's around well-being initiatives, including what we call random acts of kindness, themed weeks that invoke saying yes to fun, along with opportunities to connect with colleagues through potluck gatherings. And so those are some things that we're trying to get on the calendar, making sure that we do that helps build community in a place that you want to work at. And lastly, planning for upcoming job fairs. This year we have it scheduled out 3 ones that are coming up through the U of O, through the ECC, which is the Equity Community Consortium. Last year we did their first kind of job fair, and we were able to participate with them because we're members of that organization, as well as our Connected Lane County to try to recruit people. And as you have seen probably in the board reports this year that I provide for updates on staffing, we are always trying to make sure that we have the right staff and the right people, and we're doing pretty good there and feeling positive about that. And I just would end with that, while we're a small department, we see ourselves as mighty, and we very much enjoy the work that we do, and thank you for the opportunity to work for you in this agency.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you say potlucks?
Yeah, potluck gatherings. It's a really, we've been, yeah.
I actually saw something from an organization called, the Potluck Project, and
Oh.
how important potlucks are.
Yeah, a lot of opportunity.
Right, on behalf of Anna and Cassidy, who couldn't be here tonight for school improvement, I was able to stop by the Hope Factory today, and it was great to see a full classroom. Last year we had 42 students. This year we have 62 students. We're almost at capacity, which is pretty amazing. And I think a part of that has to do with the advocacy that Tony put forward around moving the slot costs of what districts would have to pay into the core. And so districts like Mapleton don't have to pay for a slot cost and busing. There are different aspects here that access to that program now that students across all the districts can go into, because it's part of the core. So there isn't a barrier there with cost to districts. And so seeing those numbers jump up by that much, 20 students is amazing. And so that was great. And that group also got to travel to Nashville for a national CTE conference and present. And so Ryan is our lead teacher for the Hope Factory, so he was able to lead a presentation with our CTE team So just really proud of the work, the Hope Factory, super thankful, being able to move that into the core for access for, all the students in Hunt County. To be able to get into, we see a correlation of that jump up enrollment, so.
And I saw, I think in HR, but sometimes these things are, the reports lag a little, so I was wondering, do we have a new CTE coordinator? Or program assistant?
Yeah, so Kathy Mayer retired, and we did
Oh,
hire,
yeah.
yeah, I can't.
Okay, well, no, I was like, I know Kathy's been here forever, so.
Yeah, Kathy.
Right?
Big shoes.
Good for her.
Thank you.
Thank you. Looking for Libby. Libby always has a standard report.
I want to talk about the financial.
Yeah, can I ask a question?
Sure.
I was Ms. Molly, what's the, I don't remember about the Friends and Fun camp, if we were able to sustain that. I know it was kind of like
Yeah,
different things, different years, so.
we're definitely prioritizing that at like the top of our list right now. We have a meeting scheduled to discuss potential expansion of the ESY services we provide to our life skills students. And in partnership with the district, if we do decide to go down that route, how can we build that into the program that we already run? And then for that inclusion of ESY, then allow us extended school year. So students who have lagging skills after a break in school and need recruitment, and it's a continuation of school opportunities so that we don't have that deficit of skill when we return back from extended breaks. But if we look at that summer opportunity to provide ESY services for districts, we could deliver those services through our camp program, which we did for our rurals this summer. If we did that for our larger districts, that could sustain our camp program. So we're in conversations right now.
Any other questions? Well, thank you all very much. We cherish you. And you're free to leave if you'd like. We won't take it badly at all.
I like the word mighty you use. You're almighty.
So I guess that brings us now to the consent agenda. We have 3 items, the 2 sets of minutes and the HR board report. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Any discussion? I have to tell you, Morgan, it warms my heart to see an HR report with hardly anybody missing.
And it really
It's-
changed a lot.
It's really had, and I
Totally
give you, I realize there are a lot of positions, but you deserve a lot of credit. Thank you very much.
If y'all pass
It's
that
a
on to
huge
everybody.
difference.
Thank you.
Anything else? All those in favor of approving consent agenda, please raise your hand.
Vanessa,
Let the record,
on her behalf, is also raising her hand.
I can't hear you.
Vanessa remotely is raising her hand in favor.
Oh, okay, and everybody else is raising their hand too. I'm telling you so that you can
Yes,
record that we personally.
absolutely.
The next item is the financial report. So this is your turn.
Great. Well, I'll give some non-financial numbers type of updates as well, since everyone else has shared. The business services department is in the midst of a lot of calendar year end activities. We do a lot of reporting this time of year to the federal government, to the state government, to the Oregon Department of Education. So we're working on a lot of those projects right now. And we're in the process of filling a vacancy. We are a strong team of 3 right now. So we're looking forward to getting back to being a team of 4. And so we have made some progress in that regard and are just about wrapped up with that process. And still working through the end processes related to our annual financial audit as well. So there were some delays in some federal regulations that were issued related to single audit. And I think those delays were related primarily to the government shutdown that had happened. So some of the guidance that's provided to auditors is we're resumed now, and I expect to have our report. Or we've got a draft report, but I expect to have shortly. The financial report included in the agenda tonight covers all of our activity through the end of November. You'll see that quite a bit of uptick in our general fund revenues in the month of November. That's primarily related to the cash flow that comes in from all of our property tax receipts. So most folks pay the full balance of their property taxes in November, and so we are seeing those funds coming through now. All of our expenditures are, I would say, as expected at this point in time. Our projection for the end of the year isn't that much different than what we've been kind of playing around with the last few months. And so again, we're right around that 7% mark. But I expect over the next couple of months, things will continue to tighten. We're halfway through the year now. And so this is when our projections start to tighten up a little bit, and we can make some closer estimations. We are anticipating at this point in time a couple of appropriations that we might need to make some adjustments for. I would say one of those is related to transits to our districts, and I feel like that's still a little in limbo, and that can change a lot. And so that may or may not be needed by the end of the year. And the other one is related to our child nutrition program fund, and I do anticipate that we'll need to make a modification to the transfer into that fund. The prices that we're paying per meal this year were a little bit higher than what we had anticipated, so we will have to supplement a little bit more than what we were anticipating.
Do I have a motion to approve the financial report?
I'll move to approve this financial report.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
I mean, it has no bearing on approving the report at all. I was just curious because my dad was talking about the stock market the other day. And he's like, the end of this year, there was up 17%, but that's only half of what it was last year. But that's still twice of what it normally is. And so, and then I remembered that, like, at least recently, like, we have a very successful state treasurer, and they're really good at investing money. And then I was like, 4.43%. So what is that local government investment program? That kind of figured. So I was just curious, maybe another meeting or something. I was just curious because I imagine that we don't really have any control over managing our own assets, in that sort of way. It's probably tightly regulated. But I would just love to know more about that.
LGIP?
Well, and just, like we have money flow in, we have money flow out, and
yeah,
we don't keep very much of it for very long. So I know we're not
Right.
going to be getting the 17%,
Right.
or even the 8%. But yeah, just kind of curious about that.
Yeah. In general, our total cash balance, our total average cash balance isn't, I would say it's generally high enough to warrant like an investment portfolio. I've been in those situations before where maybe districts have gone through like a bond issuance, and you have an influx of cash, and you're generally doing a lot of structuring of investments to time your cash flow and those payments. But yeah, we have a lot of influxes in and out, but overall, like, our total is not too much. But the local government pool, we try to keep as much of our funds in the local government pool, because obviously our regular checking account, the interest is very, very low, and the pool rates are pretty stable. And they've stayed, I mean, they change the rate on occasion, but it's been pretty stable the last couple of years. And we went for many years where the rates were really low. So kind of nice to see that. In the 4% range is great, because there was a lot of years where it was not that high.
And is that all through the state?
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question. What should we make of the fact that the ending fund balance reflects an operating deficit of $610,000?
Yeah, most of that is, it reflects a decrease in the amount of funds we're going to be holding on behalf of districts. So when you look at the bottom of the financial report, and you look at the ending fund balance and the amount assigned to districts, and then the unassigned fund balance, you'll see that the amount that we held assigned for districts last year was just over 1 million, and our projection for the end of this year is 539,000. So the majority of that big decrease in ending fund balances, we're just going to be holding less funds that are sort of reserved for districts. That's district funds. It's generally funds that are their flex dollar allocations. We have a couple of districts that they transit the maximum amount of 50% of their flex allocation, and there might be some funds left on the table in addition to that they then carry forward into the following. So the change in the unassigned fund balance, which is really funds that we could do what we want with, is really only a decrease of like $75,000. So much higher in that regard, but still not a trend that we want to.
Any other questions? Comments? Okay, all in favor of approving the financial report, please raise your hand. You see Vanessa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Vanessa raising her hand, and the record should show that everyone has raised their hand. Thank you. We now have a grant to discuss. Grants that we have to approve of, and I'm actually going to turn to you, Tony, to talk about this.
The grant that's before you tonight is a grant that our migrant education program is applying for through the Oregon Department of Ed. And you can see the title, Stories of Us Building Strong Students through Family and Community Connections. This is a $200,000 grant spread over 14 months. And it will increase the capacity of our unfortunately shrinking migrant ed program to be able to continue to carry on work. But part of the shrinking doesn't just come from federal choices at this point. Some of it just becomes because we have fewer migrant ed students in our county, in our region. And so there's been a tightening of that budget. And so you may notice that this is not the only migrant ed program grant.
Are usually federally related as well.
Yeah. That too. But even before change of administration, there was tightening. So we've been, as the migrant program has been looking for other things to sustain and carry on students and families. So this is what they're applying for. We don't know if we'll get it, but we're having asking for your approval for us to continue.
Do I hear a motion to approve our application for the grant for the Building Strong Students through Family and Community Connection?
So
Second. Any further discussion?
Looks cool. All the partners and everything.
Yeah. And it's fairly obvious why we applied for it. Doesn't seem quite controversial. Anyone? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, the record should show that everyone's got their hand up, including Vanessa. Thank you. So the next thing on our agenda is superintendent search matters, and do we have one of our consultants?
We do have Ms. Bean on our Zoom here. I think.
Hello.
Hello, Robin.
Hi. Well, hello, it's nice to see you all.
If only from a distance.
Right, quite a distance actually.
Hi.
Yeah.
Well, I was just looking at how far away we look on the picture.
Yeah.
So I'll turn it over to you to explain what we're doing.
Oh, okay. Well, we have a timeline document ready that will be the adopted timeline and posted on our website and your website. So basically, there are two questions. There's a question at hand around whether the timeline should or should not show a confidential community interview panel. And so I'm here just, we talked a little bit about it last year. last year. It was last year. We talked a little bit about it at our last meeting last year. And I can certainly answer additional questions. It would be ideal if your group could come to a decision about that at this meeting. It could be deferred kind of no later than the next special meeting in terms of we could add it back in to an adopted calendar, adopted timeline. If you choose to adopt one tonight without it, then we could add it back in, but we get to a point where there's not enough time then to gather and train and prepare a committee to do a community engagement interview panel. So I would say by mid-January, which is next week when we meet again, would be really sort of maybe the final opportunity to really put that together. So I'm wondering, first of all, if you've had a chance to look at the timeline, there is one that is provided to you with yellow highlighting. That is so that it's really clear to you the portions of the search that need to make your calendar. And then a second one is provided that looks cleaner without the yellow highlighting, and it currently does not include the community panel because we didn't yet have that decision from you all. So how can I assist?
Robin, I may well be the only one who needs this, but it has been a whole month.
Mm-hmm.
Not entirely sure what the issue was to begin with. So if you could explain.
Yeah,
this,
sure.
don't wait for us to ask you questions. Just sort of explain again.
Of
what
course.
this is for and what's the pros and cons?
Yes. Well, the package, if you will, the contract includes preliminary interviews conducted by Hank, Kathleen, and I with a handful of probably 10, 11 of your applicants. Round one interview is facilitated by us with you, the board, with your top 5 or 6. And then after round one, you'll narrow to finalists, usually 3, sometimes 2. When you get to the stage where you've narrowed it to those 2 or 3 finalists, there is an optional interview, which there is a price tag associated with it, that where we pull together 12 constituents into a confidential interview panel. For an ESD, this almost always includes 2 or 3 of your component school district superintendents, 2 or 3 licensed staff, 2 or 3 classified staff, 2 or 3 licensed, classified, and administrative personnel, and some constituent or component school district superintendents. We'd have a very small subcommittee to really discuss the configuration, bring that back to the full board for final agreement, because it could include others. Sometimes a community partner who's really, really engaged with ESD activities could be included. And so that'd be a deep discussion and a final decision of who are the 12. The 12 sign a confidentiality affidavit. They agree to the highest level of confidentiality as it relates to holding these interviews. And we facilitate, Human Capital Enterprises, brings the group together, trains the group, does a little bit of anti-bias training, followed by engaging with your finalists. We debrief those interviews. We take copious notes. So you hear what did the panelists who listened to each of your finalists, what did they think of their responses to the questions that were asked? They do a group debrief and an individual debrief so that you get all of that data around what did this group of constituents as a representative group of your larger stakeholders, what did they think of your 3 finalists? And we bring that to you for your consideration when you then meet with each of the finalists when they're in person for their final interview. So it's a way to get engagement feedback from constituents about your finalists. So there's only an upside in terms of, getting more information. There's not a downside to having it. There could be a perceived downside to not having one in terms of people feeling like they didn't, you are conducting a search where the finalists' names are not announced. So this is a way to get feedback from a subgroup, a very small group of your constituents, but without revealing to the public who are your 3 finalists, that determination has already been made.
I suppose that officially we need to have a motion and something to go on, and then we can discuss it. So thank you, Rose.
I'd like to move to adopt the timeline, including the confidential community engagement interview.
Okay, is there a second?
I second that.
Okay, so let's discuss this. I think, Sherry, I recall you from your experience having a pretty strong opinion about the value of this, but I might be wrong.
We did not do it last time for Southland.
Oh, no, you did. In fact, you added a second panel.
Oh, we
You
did.
paid extra for 2 panels.
Highly confidential.
It was so confidential, you missed it. Yeah, you had 24 constituents weighing in because you paid extra for a second.
Never mind.
Could you say what the cost is?
It is $2,200.
You mean outside of the 29,000?
2,200. Pardon me?
No.
Yes,
Linda
this is
Hamilton.
an addition.
You mean outside of the 29,000 you got to, when you were hired on to conduct this?
That is
Service.
correct. This is an
Okay.
optional.
This is
Yes.
additional.
Mhm.
So this community engagement is community partners, and that's separate. Does that include meal?
Does that include, I'm sorry, who?
That would be on us, never mind.
Probably.
Never mind. I was asking if it included meal, because it's a community, but
She wanted to
Never
know
mind.
whether or not it includes any food that would be served.
Oh. Actually, no, it's entirely virtual. So we give people a break to go have their lunch, but we do it virtually.
That takes a little fun out.
Yeah.
This would be a dumb question, but we have to spend $2,900 additionally to do it. Why does it have to be so confidential? Did I kind of miss that?
right.
Yeah.
Because it
So
seems like from the community, they'd be like, oh, we want to know what's going on.
Right. And this is one of the potential pieces of explanation around you are electing to do a confidential search where you do not publicly reveal the names so that you increase the applicant pool. And we could give you lots of statistics from other searches about the number of sitting superintendents who apply who do not apply in one where their name is going to be revealed. So to your constituents, you say it's easy to say we want the deepest, most robust, experienced pool we can get, and we'll do better with that by not releasing the names publicly. However, we will pull in a small community group who we will swear to secrecy, who will give the board feedback. So you are interested in feedback. You're receiving that feedback from a smaller group than having a public reveal in a high school cafeteria where, multiple people ask and answer questions.
I appreciate that. I remember the discussion last time about the relative merit of doing the names of those candidates publicly. The only part I was wondering for now is like, the people included on the panel, could they be known to the public? That's my only.
Oh, I'm sorry. I completely
No, that's
misunderstood.
okay.
Yeah, they could be. That's in fact, I'm pretty sure there's a number of places where it has been not necessarily, made, doesn't make nobody wants to publish this in the newspaper article, but there's a list on your website that says the following individuals will be participating. It's a little bit tricky because then people start to lobby them. But we don't make them swear to confidentiality that they were a part of it. We just say you can't talk about anything that happens inside it.
Anyone else have questions? You guys got any questions?
And I just want to clarify because I think I might have heard a board member say 2,900 when they were referencing it. It's 2,200, 2,200 for the community
I
panel.
got it.
I mixed them up. That was
Okay.
on me.
Okay. I
9,000.
just wanted to be sure it was clear. Thank you.
If I might speak to the motion.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why is I thought even though it is an added cost, is that, this is a, individual hope that we hope will stick around for 5-7 years, and having more community investment in this person and, connection to who is hired and feeling confident in that person will set them up for success. So it seemed worthwhile to consider at least.
No, I think the staff involvement too.
The staff involvement, is that what you said? Yeah, Linda.
Robin, you're the presenter today, this evening. Was this community engagement piece cost, the 2,200, was that known before, and why wasn't that included in the package? Why wasn't that included in the deal? Is there something special about that?
It was included in our proposal as an optional with a number associated with it. So we did include in our proposal the base fee and everything that comes with it, and then other optional things that could be added. And the community panel is not part of the base fee, but it is an optional. I would say I can't, in the majority of the searches we do, it is something folks elect to add, and sometimes even more than one. But that it was presented that way in the proposal.
But what's the base?
I would have to open up our contract, right? And I can do that while you're talking.
Okay, well, I'm familiar with the 29,000, but the base for the community, I knew, well, maybe I'm wrong. I knew from the beginning that the community was gonna be involved, I would think. I thought I knew that from the beginning, but maybe I'm not, right? Okay.
I think it was unclear.
Unclear, okay. Okay, because community partners are always involved, but.
Your question or comments, Nora?
I'm done talking, she's moving on to Nora now.
No, I didn't mean that.
That's okay, I'm good.
Vanessa? I'm just wanting to make sure everybody has a chance.
I did have a question. I'm not sure how the panels typically work in your program here, but if the community, let's say they have their panel, everybody, they have their input, are we able then to talk to the community panel, or do we just receive a 1-page brief saying these are our thoughts?
You do not speak directly with them. You get written materials both from every panelist and the compilation of the notes we take when the group is speaking with each other in the final, when we facilitate a discussion following each of the candidates, every single thing they say, we write down. So it's not necessarily a 1-page summary, but it's everything we heard them say. But yes, you do get all of that in writing, but not a conversation with the panel.
Okay.
If we wanted to, could we convene a conversation?
Can I say I need to think about what that would look like? I'm thinking there's probably a way to figure that out. There's probably a way to figure that out, but we haven't done that before, so I'd want to think really carefully, strategically about how to make that helpful and meaningful for you, and okay for the folks who are sharing their thoughts. they're very frank and forthcoming, I would say, beyond a shadow of a doubt. And I'm not always sure, and I could be wrong, but I'm not always sure people are as frank and forthcoming in front of the board. And so I want to think that through.
Do you all talk to the members of this panel individually, or is it all a collective discussion that you are taking notes on?
We do both. We do a collective discussion, and that's helpful and meaningful. And then we ask everyone to do a confidential survey where that comes directly to us. And we say to people, if there's something you didn't feel like comfortable saying in the group, then say that here. If there's something you want to echo or add, so we do both so that anyone who didn't feel like they could speak up during the debrief speaks up otherwise, and they do.
So I'm going to try to clarify and see if I can put this right, Robin.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the base fee included you and Kathleen, Hank maybe, but meeting with what you call focus groups.
Right.
And gathering information from them. So that is part of the base, and you've been already doing that. That includes some of the community that we've identified as well.
Yes.
But this next step would be where those folks we'd invite from the community, that could be some people from some of those focus groups, actually meet directly with candidates. Yeah.
Right. So
that's
the community, and you know what? I was looking for our contract quick when you were having that discussion, and thank you for bringing that up, Tony, because I thought to myself, yeah, there's community engagement at the beginning, which is what we're doing now. In fact, we have 3 more groups on Thursday, and then we'll be bringing to you by maybe by Sunday a copy of your next superintendent criteria. And then the second opportunity, if you elect to do it for community engagement, is through the interview panel. But there definitely is and has been community engagement in what you all are looking for to help guide your search.
Anyone else have any? Yeah.
I think one of the kind of elephant in the room ideas for me is like, what other potentially very valuable, highly suggested add-ons are you foreseeing soon? I know we don't have that all in front of us right now, so we're seeing this sort of add-on. So we're like considering, like, if I'm buying a computer, do I want to get the 1 terabyte checkbox? Like, all these things might come in, so that's why I want to ask you now.
Sure.
What do you anticipate?
Every optional thing that we anticipate might happen is listed on the contract, and it includes potentially a community engagement panel, 1 or more. The potentially communication, which you did elect to add 10 hours to help get the communications up and running on your website. And travel is travel is just an added expense for your candidates and for your consultants. And I would say one place we can certainly save money is the slate meeting, for example. We almost always travel to. We could have it fully virtual, and that would be a savings to you because I wouldn't be coming from anywhere and Kathleen wouldn't be coming from anywhere. That's an optional expense, but not an add-on to the package. Let me say that differently. Travel is a list of expenses for your candidates and for your consultants that will add to your base costs. Optional expenses are the things, the package add-ons are communication, community engagement panels, and if you ask us to do some research on something that isn't in the base, isn't in all of the stuff above on the contract, we do charge an hourly fee for work we're asked to do that we're tasked with that's not in the contract. I don't foresee any now. I can't think of any that I've done for the last couple of contracts. So additional fees can be hourly fees of at our hourly expense. But one way you could save some money to help make a little bit more room for the community panel is we could certainly agree that for the slate meeting, which we usually travel to, we could be fully virtual.
What's the slate meeting?
That is the one that happens,
On February 23rd?
correct.
Oh, slate, okay, got it, sorry, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah, we bring you a slate of candidates for you to determine who would you like to move forward. That is the next meeting next week is your next superintendent criteria meeting. I'm in Portland, so it's not I'm not flying from Arizona, and so we did both intend to be present next week. We don't have to do it that way. There is mileage travel for us to be there. What we do request though is if we're not in person, that we're fully virtual. It's really hard to engage in this atmosphere and at the slate meeting in particular, where we're trying to say we're needing to get agreements from people about, your top 5 or 6. Every face on a screen is easier to monitor than faces in a room. So we would ask if we're going to go virtual in a meeting to be fully virtual and not hybrid.
We'll have this we have a lot of stuff going on. And maybe we should there was a lot of discussion when we first sat down tonight about all the different meetings that are happening on that night. And perhaps
What are you talking about?
on the special meeting night, the
January
14th.
14th?
She's got something with the youth, Tony's got something, I've got something. If we could do a fully virtual meeting, that might be a good option.
On the other hand, it seems to me that the cost of having you all come down from Portland is trivial. I mean, we're not gonna save enough money to make a lot of difference on mileage on that.
Next week's meeting is minimal, and we both currently have it on our calendar to be there. But the February one, we could plan now ahead and be fully virtual for the slate meeting.
But if you're gonna be in Portland then, and so is Kathleen, it's not a big deal for you to come down here. It's not like you're flying from Arizona or something.
That's correct. I mean, and that's next week, so we're good for it.
All I'm saying is that in my view, we don't save very much money by doing those virtually, and we do lose the value. I mean, it is more valuable to have you personally here. I mean, and you look
can
better
have
in
a virtual
person.
option for people that like me that wanna be at the site of the board meeting.
That's also possible, but I don't know that it has to be everyone.
No.
The people who could participate in person, I think that's very desirable. I think you get better communication just in general. I mean, that's why we had these meetings set up early on, is hoping people would be able to avoid conflicts. And it just doesn't happen. I know, I understand.
How can I put, well, never mind. Never mind, it's unnecessary.
I actually hear better in a fully virtual meeting than I do here. So.
On the topic of the confidential community, I support it now. I think, even though I was one of the ones kind of poking and prying at it, I just wanted to get a sense of this cost of everything. So
Yeah.
I think it's worth doing.
I think we still have the motion on the table, right?
We have a motion.
Yeah.
And he's just.
So when we call the question,
which is
He's just letting us know how he feels.
Oh, no, I was more saying as we get down the road with mileage, maybe since that's not related to this motion, we could decide, this motion and then we talk about mileage.
Yeah, and I apologize for the distraction of that. I was trying to find ways to save you money in support of doing the community panel. So that was my bad.
Very relevant.
Well, I'm gonna come virtually, and I think.
Well, let's focus on the question of whether we go to the community
Which
panel.
meeting are you
Yes,
coming
we want,
virtually?
yes, let's do that first.
You're talking about the special meeting, January 14th.
No.
No, we are not talking about the meeting on January 14th. We are talking about the potential meeting on February 23rd. January 14th is going to happen.
No, I think,
She
wasn't that the
was
March
talking about
12th? March 12th community
March 12th.
meeting.
No,
So the motion on the
oh,
table
yeah,
is
it's
to
March 12th, yeah.
add March 12th, a confidential community engagement interview panels. We will not be involved in those, so it doesn't have any bearing on our schedule, it's just fun. So,
Great.
I call the question?
Yes. Everybody ready to vote? Okay, so the question is whether or not we are going to authorize the confidential community engagement panel, which will not involve us meeting personally, though we will at some point give information about it. Okay? And it will cost about $2,200.
Okay.
Okay?
About, I thought
It will cost exactly $2,200.
Don't give them a bow.
Oh, okay, okay, excuse me. All right, okay. Everybody ready?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, Vanessa's got her hand up and so does everyone else.
Yes.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Thanks very much.
And in terms of the January 14th meeting, I would at least like to say and I don't know whether we need to take a vote on this or not, but I would at least like to say that I think that it's worth the money to pay you the mileage to come down here to have you in person. I think we get more out of that.
And I can pick you up if that save us some money.
Well, I'll tell you a secret. I'm weaving it into my drive back down to Arizona. So you're actually only paying one way because then I'm going to keep going. So it's all good. Okay. And then we
don't
can
want to
just
scare you off.
That's all
I
right.
don't want you to feel run off.
We can discuss that at that time. The only other question mark is the slate meeting. So in terms of travel. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. And this timeline will be posted tomorrow on both websites. And I do want to just let you know that we did a pre-blast about your opening in November. We did another one on Monday where we listed multiple openings that we're repping. Lane ESD is obviously on that list. And your big e-blast will go out right after our next meeting. So lots of interest already.
Have you gotten any nibbles?
Yep, we have. We're excited. We have nibbles. All right. Thank you all, and I'll sign off.
Okay, our next item on our agenda has to do with our favorite topic, policy.
Oh, it is too.
Ooh, yes. And what we have to do first is to do the second reading and voting on the first half, but it actually turns out to be the first third. Sorry to tell you guys, but there's actually, there's 3 times. The first third of section J students, which you received last meeting. I at least did not get any questions or comments from anybody. I don't know if you did, Tony.
Did not.
So there's nothing obvious for us to talk about this, and the specifics of what you're being asked to decide about are listed in the agenda, exactly which sections. And now I will let Tony tell us.
So a couple policies in this first third of section J were policies that the committee didn't necessarily have a recommendation for the first reading. One of them was policy JBB, which is an optional proposed educational equity policy. That's still going to be recommended to be on hold. And the reason for that, I'll explain more maybe a little about this later, but our strategic plan called for an equity advisory council, and that council is now morphed into a district equity council. And the committee, the policy committee decided that it might be best to give the DEC, the new equity group, a chance to look this over. It's proposed, brand new for us, and it has some optional language in there. We thought we'd take some input. And so that group isn't going to convene until later this week. So that's going to be on hold. And then if we go down further, we found all these interesting. That's what people on the policy committee. But what we found really interesting was policy JFCE on secret societies and gang activities.
Including fraternities and sororities.
Secret handshakes.
We saw where the policy came from in terms of the gang activity. And I think we questioned really the secret society part of it. I think Leslie, you looked it up.
We don't know where the gang activity came from. There is a statute, I can report to you, there is a statute that talks about secret societies, including fraternities, and that we cannot have them, and that participating in one can be grounds for expulsion. It doesn't say anything about gang activity or bullying or any of the other sorts of things one might worry about. They're in the policy, but they didn't come from the statute. What our legislature is concerned about is secret societies. And therefore, we have to put it in our policy.
What number was that?
It's JFCE/JFCEA.
They are secret.
Yeah, they're really secret.
Yeah, it's like,
We have them, we don't know about them, but we're proposing.
But if we find out about
Yes,
them.
we're proposing, we're not going to allow them,
if you
so
forgot
that.
about them, then you really messed it up.
It's not on this.
It is, it's on the sixth from the bottom in policy section J, students, 7E1. Go all the way to the bottom of 7E1 and count up 6, secret societies and gang activity. And I really want to know the story behind that legislation, but yes, that'll be another day. Something happened.
Somebody got really mad about a secret society in middle school.
So JFC.
Well, I don't know, I'm looking online, so I could be mistaken if you're looking at the.
It's not on here.
Oh, gosh, can you use that?
Yeah, it's on here.
Yeah.
It's on.
Oh, see, I see, secret society, here it is, right
These letters are.
Okay.
It's JFCE.
Yeah, got it.
JFCEA.
So we're proposing to add that.
Okay.
The recommendation is to add that as an option.
Okay.
We thought about trying to take it out, but we really, it is the law.
So those are the comments I think. The other ones are in there. That's the.
So I move to adopt the policies listed in 7E1 as presented.
Anybody want a second? Okay, Thomas seconded it. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. All the people, including Vanessa, have raised their hands.
Correct, thank you.
Then we're gonna delete some policies. And if they think there's just one, and it's just the superfluous thing that says it's just sort of like a throat clearing thing, and so you don't really need it just in terms of paring down what's already a big bunch of policies.
So I move to adopt the policy deletion JAA listed in 7E2.
Thank you. Was that JAA?
Yeah. Yes.
Anybody gonna
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. All hands are raised.
I have one question. There was one I was going by, but I could not find it. The teen dating.
The
Do you
what?
remember the one, teen dating?
Teen dating.
Yeah, you mean the
Oh,
hazing
teen
harassment.
dating. Yeah, there is a teen dating.
That's
I don't even remember what it said.
oh, I see. So is it JFCF?
It is JFCF?
I think so.
Violence or domestic violence. The last one was.
Well, it's on the very front, there's also the hazing, harassment, blah, 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 teen dating violence reporting procedures, et cetera.
It's part of the, it's
Hazing.
part of the same one that's got, secret societies. Okay. So I guess that's it for adopting policies. The next topic on our agenda is a fire engine. Yay.
So, I'll take it. So this has been up for discussion at least one meeting prior to this.
No, at least
three.
This is the third. at
So
least.
so this reason is up for action. As the last meeting, you kind of had an introductory communication that got more detailed from Mark Moore, the former liaison. And I also was able to have some members of our CTE team working on this. So we had a team on our CTE team. Mark Bourne helped out. He got me into a county fire chief meeting. And one of the interesting things that happened at that meeting is it finally dawned on me at that meeting that it's not really a fire truck. It's a decommissioned fire truck, so it's a vehicle. And I don't know how the connection was made after that. I think our CTE team made the connection because Lane County Public Works all along said, we want to help you with this. And so what they're helping us with, so we now have assistance. The assistance isn't coming for the truck directly from any fire station. No fire chiefs were ready to say, hey, we're going to take that. But Lane County Public Works, where we already have our fleet, they take care of our fleet of vehicles, said you can add this to the fleet. And the cost will be what the cost of maintenance would normally be, whether it was anywhere else. So we're looking at probably between $2,500 and $4,000 a year. They will store it on their property, and so it's not something that's going to be contracted. I believe it'll be out Delta Oaks.
Yeah.
They have a bigger area that they hold out there. So they're already our partners. We already have our vehicles working through them. They're taking this on as one more. And the only contingency here is these are all verbal agreements at this point. I want to get things in writing to make sure we know what.
So what they're gonna agree to do is go out and start it and do that
Yes,
stuff.
they're gonna be, so since it's sitting on their property, they already are taking care of, other vehicles. They've got folks who can start it a couple times a month for us. It's a good location where our instructor can get there, get the vehicle, get to whatever site we have the field day, transport the equipment that it's meant to transport. I think there are a lot of good things that came from this. The problem is it all came really late, like yesterday, with all the fine tuning. So the agreements aren't signed, but I will be pursuing the signatures, and I feel very confident in verbal cooperation that we've got with the entire.
So we can't make a motion.
So I suggest a motion.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I have a motion to suggest, which is that we can accept the grant of the fire engine contingent on the superintendent entering into the necessary written agreements.
That way, once it's signed, we can get it.
It's done, right? We don't have to come back and do it again. And if the written agreements don't get done, then we're not accepting.
Right, because the written agreements are taking care of the logistical issues I was concerned about, that we would have this vehicle that we would all of a sudden start trading our resources.
So I suggest that as a motion, if anyone happens to want to make.
And the written agreement, could you share that again?
Yeah, so it's going to be like a interagency government agency agreement, IGA, that will just state that they'll have the vehicle parked on the property, started intermittently a couple times a month. We will then be responsible for paying for whatever the maintenance costs. So they're not going to do it for free, but we knew we were going to pay something.
Are they prepared to do the maintenance? I mean, do they know how to maintain a fire engine?
No, but they'll take it to this place. They'll see that it gets there, or it might be our instructor, it might even be one of our CTE folks. Once it's a decommissioned fire engine, it's just a vehicle that requires a CDL to drive. The instructor has that, or somebody else. So it's like a
Or just
driving
have
a
the
truck.
hoses or the tanks or anything.
That's
I have a picture of what it looked like. I went there on the 13th of December where the students was.
Yeah.
Here.
Does it look good?
Does it look good? Yeah, it's great. The students was loving it. I mean, the young man was, I even have a picture of him, Lane ESD, Lane ECTE, ESD. They were all students.
Do we get
And I
facts
got a
next
call.
We need to write it.
So
Yes, Maria.
Absolutely. If I may, I'm raising my hand on behalf of Director Truitt. Go ahead, go ahead, Vanessa.
Thank you. I had a question is, I understand it's decommissioned and there will be an intergovernmental agreement. But does Lane ESD then own it if you wanted to scrap it or donate it and get the are you able to do that, or does it become a property of Lane County afterwards?
No, it's a property of Lane ESD. You're actually going to accept this. Lane ESD will own it.
It's a gift.
We'll have the title to us, and so if it comes to however we decide to get rid of it, we will, but that's also part of the agreement with Lane County Public Works who, we've got somebody here who would do that. I think we even have partnerships that may not be written with the local fire chiefs in terms of how to do this.
Great,
So
thanks.
again, that was another thing, is like, we got this thing sitting here, what do we do with it? I think we'll have assistance in that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
There's optimism. I don't know if I want to, I don't necessarily believe all this, but our partner helping us, and this may come out, that as vehicles age in fire agencies locally here in the region, we may see another donation as possible.
LESD,
Everybody, people are
Expiring until we need.
well, what that would mean is that we would then, we would probably need one, but I could see down the road if this takes off, this one, we get rid of this one and accept a new one. So you may not be done, it may not be
I would
one.
like to move to accept the fire truck. I just, to contingent, tell my son I did something today, as written in the agenda 7F1.
Oh, well, just one moment. Chair Harris had provided one, and I want to make sure that which one she had recommended a motion that was similar to what's written, but I want to make sure that we're clear on which motion we're moving with.
Isn't that the one that you meant, the one that was written?
This doesn't say written. The proposed language does not say written.
No, that's just what I said to me,
I know.
the thing that says
Right,
there on the screen. I can say it out loud. Unless you were suggesting different language. I don't think she was saying. I'm going to say, be it resolved that the Board of Directors of Lane ESD graciously accept the 1988 Western States Fire Engine offered by the Row River Fire District, contingent upon completion of all required inspections, transfer of title, and all storage arrangements are confirmed with appreciation for their partnership and support.
But we take a friendly amendment.
Okay.
In writing.
Oh, you want to
All
say
this is in writing. That's what Tony
contingent
wanted.
upon completion of all required inspections, transfer of title, and all storage arrangements are confirmed in writing.
Right.
I misunderstood.
Got it.
Confirmed in writing.
We all seconded it.
Yeah.
Don't want to tell my son I bought a fire truck today, or accepted one for free.
So did I hear Director? You seconded, okay, you're up, you seconded, yeah?
Any further
Yeah.
discussion? My son was
Do
3.
we get
called
to
him
ride
fire
on it?
patrol. I was gonna say, do we get a ride?
We have to have a parade, yes.
Yeah, we let all the little kids in the neighborhood come and climb on it.
We need to train
Okay,
the
all
kids
in
to
favor?
maintain it.
Yes. All in favor, please raise your hand. All
Brad
hands
has
are
one
raised,
that he-
including
That's so fun.
Okay,
Vanessa.
indeed.
Brad has one that he puts asphalt on it in December.
All right.
So I will pass on,
Lots of.
I'll pass on our appreciation. I just want to acknowledge Chief Bernard from the Row River Fire Station. This comes from Row River, this fire truck comes from Row River. And so.
A newly formed fire department must have been given to them.
Yeah, it was, they had a new one come to them, so this is their oldest. It still is for our purposes.
Okay, our next item is approving the second year of the 2025 local service plan. And I will then turn it over to you, Tony, to talk about this.
So this is the second year. We typically run these in 2-year cycles, so that the current plan that's up for approval here is for the 26-27 school year. Even though we do 2-year plans, the state requires an annual approval from our superintendent council our school board here, and then our component school district boards. The vote came at the December, I believe it was 16th meeting, 16th. It was a unanimous vote, but there was some tension over costs that I'm going to bring up in my report, which is a little later, as districts are facing some budget crunches, and just noting that our costs aren't going down in most areas. There's some that they have, and I'll address that when we get to my report. But at this point, it has been passed from the Superintendent Council. It is now up to the ESD Board to take action. Once your action is taken, if it's approved, then it goes out through the rest of January and February to our component school district boards. I'm sorry, the only thing is not much change between this year and last year.
I can't find
Wait, actually, one more thing. The other part of it that is in the plan that won't be in the plan could potentially be due to certain state budget cuts or federal cuts. And so it's like we put the migrant ed program in the plan. It's in the plan underlined because it's contingent upon whether or not there will be any federal funds. So our superintendents know going in that, hey, it's in the plan, but we may not be able to implement it due to that. So those areas are highlighted.
I move to adopt the year 2, the 2025-2027 local service plan.
Second. I have a question, and I should have asked this some years ago because it's nothing new, but I still have the question. And that is, how is it that funding for the MLK program is something in the optional services thing rather than the core services? Because it seems like, I mean, districts just opt in if they're gonna send kids to juvie.
No, if the kid's sent there, then the district's kind of opted in from that. I think that's the way it's.
Yeah, the alternative youth program is a program that we invoice districts for based on the student enrollment. That's separate from a student who is in juvenile detention. Those costs are paid for at the state level. And so the cost to provide education to students in detention is funded through a state grant to us.
So what is the MLK one for?
The alternative youth program is a ESD.
What is it?
It's a instructional program operated collaboratively between the county and Lane ESD for students who are not like in detention or incarcerated, but maybe in the court system or in the juvenile system. And so they come to school and receive instruction.
So is it like an alternative school?
Yeah, they're not detained, they're not there overnight.
Okay.
They just, it's an alternative program for students who are, I guess you could say, like they're in the court system, but they're not.
It can sometimes be a place where districts have students there for a short period of time while they transition from one setting to another. So it gives the district time to create plans, work with families, and so typically students are not in there for an extended period.
But they're just there for the school day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it might be for a few weeks to maybe,
Couple months. You still do the culinary program there too?
At the service center, they do have.
Yeah, it must be hard to plan a budget of that.
That seems to be an annual thing that we meet with the county to go over that.
How it's funded?
Yeah, it also depends on student enrollment, like a lot of things do. As the enrollment shrinks, then it's more difficult to sustain it in the way.
But it sounds like the enrollment would be so variable during the year. I don't know. How
That's why we typically come together and meet with the county.
That sounds tricky.
We're not talking tons of students, but we're talking to the population is in balance.
Yeah, the average enrollment for that program is about 10.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, please raise your hand. All the hands are raised. You want to say anything?
Well, I just had a quick question, not on that, on the service plan, but just when do we so far only have a couple of visits?
Yeah, that's the next item.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I'll speak to that. Yeah, you're,
I saw it in the briefing, I didn't realize. that
yeah,
was also-
you're actually.
Okay.
Talk about this,
Oh, I think, did we already vote? I missed the vote.
we voted.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was waiting. for the
We
vote.
did.
Okay.
We did.
So, the next part, and we were already there, no, I apologize.
Okay.
So the component district board visits, currently, we've been invited to visit the Springfield School Board meeting on the 12th, which is next Monday, and the Siuslaw School Board meeting, which is the 14th, which is next Wednesday, which conflicts with our special meeting. And hence, I'm hoping that, I don't think I'm part of your special meeting, because you're talking about who's coming next and who's leaving. I believe. So,
You can slink away.
the other thing is Marie,
Is it
now,
Did you say it was January 15th? We don't
For-
have a
for-
meeting for 14.
so now that you've taken official action to approve the local service plan, Maria will send something out to all the component districts. And, we will go to the boards that ask us to go. And it could be all 16 of them, it could be 12 of them, 14, could be 6. I'm not sure what we'll get, but the way we've done this before is typically I'll go, or it could be Eric. It could be both of us sometimes, depending on where we're going and what they want to hear from us. And then as you've been assigned to districts in the county, we'll invite you along as well. Opportunity presents.
We like to go. It's a good opportunity.
It is. Probably not
So
to be
you're gonna-
recommended before. Yeah, so we'll know more after tomorrow. The communication will go out that, hey, it's now approved. Now we want to see if you get on your agenda. So did Springfield and Siuslaw happen to anticipate your vote? We reach out.
Okay, now we move into the discussion and reporting section, so I'm trying to get over here.
So the first report is a legislative report, and I don't have much new to report because we still don't have the short session that's convened yet. That will be next month. And the OAESD priorities are going to be similar to what we see with the Coalition of Boarding School Administrators and OSBA. And I think the common theme is that the budgets in school districts are tight. We're in the middle of a biennium. Let's see if we can get through this biennium without further disruption to students' education programs. So no cuts. It's not, at this point, not asking the legislature to add money, but it's to avoid the cuts and, if needed, use some of the full reserve funds that the state has to offset those cuts to get us through the biennium. I believe we're going to get more information at the OAESD superintendent meeting Thursday about that, but I don't anticipate it's going to change much. So that's a very short legislative report at this point. As we mentioned before, the legislature is unlikely to take action in terms of what they're going to decide, cutting or not cutting, until they see the February economic forecast. We might not know until March. Okay. Moving into the superintendent report, I mentioned I was going to talk a little more about the local service plan here. One of the issues that I've mentioned maybe a couple times before, but it's definitely hitting, is that our districts are feeling a pretty strong pinch in terms of what they purchase from us for services and the cost of those. Our biggest, the biggest number of services we offer are in the special education realm. Those costs are not going down, they're increasing. And our districts are not getting any more reimbursement for the students we serve. The reimbursement level has stayed the same for many, many years. So there's a definite pinch that our districts are feeling. And Eric also mentioned, and it wasn't just my idea, it was an idea of the team, our CC team, Olivia and Eric were a big part of this as well, the school improvement team, is shifting the Lane Career Academy, like the Hope Factory and the fire services, into the core. But when we increase the core, what that does is it shrinks the flex funds. Districts spend those flex funds on our optional services. So there could be less money available there. We did shrink the core a little bit this year. And we've got links on our superintendent agenda to go to those the expenses, and there's nothing hidden there, but it's pretty complicated. And we don't break all of that down usually between the first and second year. We break a lot of that down when we go into the first year of a plan. So as I mentioned in the board briefing, I'll be convening a smaller group of superintendents. Olivia will be part of this, And we're gonna really break down what the cost of our core services are. Core services, our districts have asked us to put this together for us. And then we're gonna show them in detail what those costs are and where we've been able to make some reductions. Where I think most of the attention is gonna go though, is gonna be in the special education costs. And say, okay, you're serving our students who have life skills disabilities. That cost has been increasing quite a bit. What can we do to what can we see to give us an indication of what those costs might be? Are there any chances of saving? We don't anticipate nearly as large of an increase in our special ed costs from this year to next year as we did from the year before this year. But our superintendents have asked for a closer look, and that's something we'll be convening probably a group of 4 or 5 to take a couple meetings in January, a couple in February. We have to set our costs pretty much by the end of February. And all this is in a weird timing because we still won't know if there are going to be any cuts to those districts coming out of the legislative session. So we're going to try to invite folks in to take a closer look at it and bring it back to work. So that's one thing that it's not the first time we've done that. I think this will be the third time in my 9 years here that we've gone give it that kind of. There seems to be a cycle. So be happy to give. The next parts of my reports are just other things coming up. We told you, I think last month, that we had just completed a staff survey through the company called Upbeat, and some of our component districts have also used that. It surveys the culture and climate of our staff. Morgan and his HR team has been looking at that. Our equity advisory council, our district equity council will also be looking at that. We will have a report ready for you at the February meeting. We may go in depth on that in terms of the time for you to see it ahead of time and the time to ask some questions. At that meeting also, we're inviting our district equity committee to show up to probably provide some of the input on that educational equity policy, as well as probably also talk about some of the survey. So that's something to look forward to. And then I think I mentioned the facility plan to look forward to. We need to decide whether we do the facility plan in February or kick that to March. But our architecture team from Soderstrom is ready to give us a presentation on what they've received and what they've got for us to say. This is what you should be looking at as far as your facilities at the Westmoreland campus and your facilities here. So just some foreshadowing, previewing of some good things. At the same time, you're still doing the superintendent services. So it'll be a busy month.
Got all these construction programs, can't these kids, it's a little more sophisticated than a shed, I guess, but.
Right.
Yeah, but they're building houses now,
And
Mike would approve.
And then, yes, and then the last part of my report is just as I mentioned, there's the OA ESD Superintendent Council meeting that is scheduled for this Thursday, virtual, where I think one of the topics is actually about local service planning. How does local service planning differ from ESD to ESD? And then also, I think a big part of it will be what do we hear and what are we anticipating from the
It's good topic, good discussion.
And that's my report. So any questions?
It's very exciting stuff.
Go out with a bang, Tony.
Right.
Think on OA ESD.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. The next item is first reading of the second third of Part J of the policies. And you have those listed on your agenda, and I think that Maria has handed out to you all paper copies. And so the drill is like it's been. Please look through them, see if you have questions. If you have questions or comments, if possible, to get them to Tony, realistically speaking, before the next meeting so that the committee has a chance to try to figure it out or something.
And it's the policy committee tentatively meeting, we'll be meeting sometime the week of January 26th. So it'd be best if we had any questions like by the end of the workday on January 23rd, and which is time to do it.
We would appreciate that. Okay. now comes to reports, and we have our guest superintendent from Oak Ridge, Mr. Dave McGrath. So we'd love to hear how things are in Oak Ridge.
Oak Ridge, things are going well.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Do you have any snow?
No,
Not yet.
no snow. They're going well. I've had 27 school board meetings and I've had 0 people come.
We heartily approve.
That's my measure.
Who's counting?
We were there. Linda and I.
Zero.
Linda and I showed up.
There is one guy retired. His daughter is an elementary school teacher and he comes to find out what's going on in education. But other than that, he sits there with his little notepad and takes notes. Yeah. So since
That's good news.
August of 23rd, August of 23, have yet to have somebody come to the board meeting. So
You're doing a great job.
either they're happy or they just gave up. Yeah. Okay, on to more serious things. Our test scores are trending upward. They're not rocket ship, going up like this, but they're going up year over year for the last 3 years, especially in our K2 literacy program. We have a superb effort in that, and we're showing results. Very dedicated staff with that. We've created an additional CTE graphics program, and unfortunately we canceled our welding program because it was undersubscribed, and so that.
Your what program? Sorry.
We canceled our welding program.
Welding.
Yeah, there were only in 2 periods there were 4 kids, just not the interest in it. So we canceled that, but we did add the graphics program, and our graphics instructor did a couple of externships over the summers in graphics in Cresswell. And we just recently got a donation of $30,000 from an alumnus specifically for the graphics program. So we're stunned about that. And I actually have to check. It wasn't like, I'll give you 30,000. I actually have to check on my desk, waiting for that. Tony mentioned rising cost. We, because of our location, we have to transport some kids to behavior programs here in Eugene. And the total cost for that for us is $545,000. So just the cost alone, but then you're putting 4th, 5th, 6th graders on buses an hour each way. It's hard on families. Your kids are, elementary school kids are in Eugene and their families are in Oak Ridge during the day. We think we can do that and save $195,000. Most of that, almost all of that is in transportation costs. And so we're taking a really good look at that. Tony mentioned the Upbeat survey. We completed that. We're very happy with it. We heard from the Upbeat people that first year administration of it, they expect to have a 70% participation rate, and we had it 93%.
Wow.
I think a lot of it had to do is I gave everybody that completed the full-size candy bar.
Right.
Yeah. And at our high school, in the last 7 years, there have been 5 principals at the high school. I'm part of that thing. I was only there a year, but then I became superintendent. Happy to say that we've seen stability in that. We hired somebody to replace me, and that lasted 14 months, and we replaced him. And we promoted somebody within, and it's been going really, really well. So we have no plans to make any changes. It's not like we're unhappy once again. She's doing an excellent job. About that, we have a real strong grow your own mentality in the district. We had Director of Special Programs leave a couple of years ago. We went with that. We hired somebody to be Director of Special Ed / Director of Special Programs. She became the principal. A 6th grade teacher became a teacher on special assignment. Somebody had been there for several years. He moved into that position. So we needed to find a 6th grade teacher who happened to be an educational assistant in the room across the hallway, who had a degree and qualified for credentials. So she's over there now. And we had a teacher go on compassionate leave because his wife has a terminal disease. And Again, we found an EA that was in the building, very experienced to take over that position, and it's going extremely well. And we have some succession plans. We know a couple of people are leaving, one for both of them for family reasons, but we already have replacements in the building. We put an extra effort on identifying people and nurturing them into positions. So we're very happy about that. So that's all about the schools, the district, but Brandon left, and my last thing here is a little shout out to Brandon. We had a guy who was a tech director for us for a number of years. He actually lived in Coos Bay, and he had agreement with the previous administration to work 2 days on campus and 3 days from home. And I told him in June he needed to be here 5 days a week. And he said he couldn't do that, so we made a search for somebody. Brandon came up and gave us advice on the interview process and the questions. He came up and participated on the interview panel. We had a guy. If you haven't picked up on it yet, I'm pretty straightforward and kind of this is how we're going to do things. And the guy we interviewed was really nervous, and it didn't sit well. It was like, I'll never get along with this guy. And I looked at Brandon and I said, when we had the discussions, and I said, if I can get past that, can this guy do the job? And he goes, oh yeah, he's done it. He listed all these things. So we hired him, and I am absolutely tired of hearing about how wonderful that guy is. When I go to the elementary school, when I leave the office, they go, have we told you about Greg? And I go, yes, I've heard about Greg. He's a stereotypical computer guy, shows up with his laptop always open, ready to go. And, but they're just amazing. He solves the problems right now. I say, when you have time, could you do this? 5 minutes later, standing in the doorway. So thanks to Brandon. Greg has the job because of Brandon. So Tony, if you could pass that on to Brandon, it was very, very helpful. And with that, any questions?
How's your attendance? Is that?
It's up. We have a Everyday Matters is a program within the state, and in fact, I was sitting here thinking, like, what am I going to wear to work tomorrow? As you were diligently discussing policies. And every Wednesday we wear Everyday Matter T-shirts.
Oh.
And so tomorrow, instead of this, I have jeans and a T-shirt because I'm supporting the school. And Thursday we'll be back to this. Attendance is going well. We put a real effort into it the last couple of years. Calls home. Teachers are required to make calls home. We make home visits. We have a licensed social worker on staff that visits with the administrator. And so last year at this time, we sent out 40 letters about non-attendance, non-compliance with attendance laws. This year we sent out 10.
Wow.
So they're very intentional programs, and we're seeing the results of that in multiple ways in our district.
How big is the district?
501 kids. Yeah. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for coming down on this cold.
I get to go to Burrito Boy after this. I got that planned out also.
Just reach out to me if you have any like band concerts or athletic events where I could come as a public member, just visit.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't get out there much, but I'd like to.
Well, you know, there's such an emphasis on sports in high schools that I avoided mentioning anything about sports. But our wrestling program is really good. Very strong in the girls program. Last year we had in 2A we had 2 state champions and 3 girls finished second. Very, very strong program, and a very strong youth program with about 70 kids in.
Yeah,
So
that's a sport that's really boomed out.
Girls wrestling is the fastest growing sport in the United States.
Yeah. They had just a girls tournament last weekend.
Yeah, my granddaughter's a freshman at Oregon City High School, and she went to a tournament that had 384 girls in La Grande.
Wow.
Got 4th as a freshman.
Don't mess with her.
So, yeah, so that is kind of our strongest program. It's the girls wrestling. Yeah, I'll do that. That's it.
Okay.
Unless you have more questions. Love to talk about Oak Ridge.
Ms. Dallin?
I don't really have much to say. Just coming back from break, yesterday was supposed to be a staff only day, and then due to a miscalculation in the spreadsheet, the poor kids had to actually come to school yesterday. But when we were going to break, they did a wonderful music performance, K through high school, for a couple hours. It was quite a show. And then due to weather and everything, the last 2 days of school before the break were closed. So we missed our last board meeting as well. So I'm kind of still on vacation.
I was glad to hear that you had a miscalculation with the calendar.
Yes.
I found out about one just a couple of days ago.
It was one of those, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is, because we were looking at the calendar going, we can end a week early. Like, this is great that it's all just fitting together so well. No, because it was not correct. So.
Well, on
That
ours,
was
I get to tell the staff they don't have to work an extra day.
You're the hero.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's always a plus.
So, Mike, how's Creswell?
We've had a really good year so far. I think I told you guys last time that I'm going to try to get the flight program going where the kids actually learn how to fly planes. Get a package together and present it to the principal and see if we can get enough kids interested. And right now I'm trying to get our principal together with some people in the community and see if we can't get something figured out, so we're working together rather than stepping on their toes. But I'd like to get that going. Let's see, we've submitted plans for our CTE building. See where that goes. See what else you might tell me. We passed that bond last year, and we've had a whale of a year. And I don't know how he's done this, but we have 4 buildings for our high school. We've got seismic grants for all 4 buildings.
Yeah.
We got the bond and put that in the bank, and they've made $2 million on the interest on that thing.
$2 million?
Singing my
Yeah,
song.
and he's got a couple other notes in here, and it's I think I told you before, we put in a new football field, a baseball, and softball, and we got them all for the price of one. It's just, it's been a good year. I think the best thing we've done is we've got a new principal that I think came from the Thurston area. And that guy has got those kids excited to be back in school again. We had a lot of kids that were thinking about leaving. And you know, in the last 5-6 years, we've had 4 or 5 principals in the high school. I mean, we've had a lot of turnover. And I think this guy is going to be really good for us. You can just see the difference in the band, people in band that went up, the attitude of the kids, it's amazing the difference. But let's see what else. That's about it. We've got some really good numbers on completion rates and graduation rates and stuff that's higher than we've had for a while. So things and I think that all falls back on the principal that got an open door, go and see him anytime you want to, and he's always mixing it up with the kids. I think that's going to be an absolutely wonderful fit.
So what's your plan for replacing Mike?
We're going through the process now. We've met with the company.
So you're gonna do a search?
Yeah, we've started the search already, and it's gonna be a big pair of shoes to fit.
Yeah.
Fill the way with what all he's done for us. It's amazing. I told him that he and I turned out to be really good friends, but I said the day he calls me from Phoenix to tell me that it's 85 degrees and sunny, and then it's February up here and it's snowing. I said, you're not going to hit very encouraging words, Mike. But he really has done us a good job, and I think he's probably going to be doing something down there. I don't know how much, but I think he'll be busy down there. He's
I
good,
mean,
he's a good man.
Pass that bomb with the amount of people that you passed it with, I mean, the connections, the communications that you get impressed with is amazing.
You know, you just gotta do that.
Yeah.
And it's really no secret. I mean, we got the kids involved, the parents. I think that was the biggest thing in my view was the parents and the kids going door to door and bringing the city fathers in to see, you know,
Yeah.
different things crumbling or not fall apart or whatever. You really need to let those people know what's going on. You're not just asking for money.
Your tax dollar.
You know, you're trying to keep them in school, keep them safe. And I was amazed we got bonds for all our grants for all 4 buildings. But, no, it's a lot of work, but it sure worked for us. And then the best thing, I think I've told you too, the best thing they did was we have 2 ex-cheerleaders as principals. And we took a pickup and a trailer and we just put thank you Cresswell for passing the bond on it. And the annual 4th of July parade we had, that was the first thing in the parade. And I thought that was the best thing we've done the whole time. Just to make sure people knew we appreciate what they've done.
You have a huge parade.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's really worked out well. That's about all I have.
Okay, thank you. Tony and Maria have required me to do this. I'm going to read about Board Appreciation Month. School Board Recognition Month is celebrated in January to honor the unpaid elected volunteers who serve on Oregon's 197 local school boards, our 19 education service district boards, and our 17 community college boards. We urge all citizens to join us in recognizing the dedication and hard work of all board members serving across this county and beyond in preparing today's students for tomorrow's world. Yay, us.
Thank you. Yes, I just want to.
That's why I brought the chocolate.
Thank you. I just wanted to echo that, and it's about the great work that you do here as a Lane ESD board and all the things that are under your umbrella that you are ultimately responsible for, and you hear quite often the good things that are going on. But it's also the connection you have with our component district school boards. You guys sit in a special central place, which is why I wanted to formally recognize all of you and thank you. And I kind of leave it up to Leslie to thank your other folks for all the work they do. So thank all of you. It's very important work. Appreciate it very much.
And the final.
Oh, did we skip the thing about going to the conference?
No, that's the last thing.
Oh, that's the last thing, okay.
That's the one more. So
There's a conference.
Yeah.
May 13th to 15th.
Are you gonna go, Tony?
yes,
Okay.
I plan on going. Room blocks just opened up, and so it's time to declare whether you will go or not. So Maria can grab a room for you. Okay. So
Okay, I see Rose, I see Leslie.
May 13th to 15th,
yes, again, it's a Wednesday through Friday.
is that
Sun
still at
River.
Sun River?
Yeah, so Sun River OAE is. And you may recall at the beginning of the year when we looked at budget, I think we planned to be at 2 OSBA and OAE. So
Yeah.
this is something that we have.
I didn't go last year.
You're in?
Dude, Tony's gonna get some
I
kind of
don't
shout
know.
out, right? I mean.
I think there are several others. who were-
Yeah, I know, so they probably won't do it
I'm
justice.
gonna.
Don't want this to be just.
So far, I just want to recount, I see Linda, Rose, and Leslie are signed up. Vanessa, did I see a hand from you?
No, I'm not sure yet.
Okay, no problem.
I think I can go, I didn't know, did you send out an email that I missed?
No,
Not yet, this
not
is
yet.
the first announcement.
Okay.
We just have the rooms open, so we put it on the agenda. Make sure we
Right.
have the rooms.
And I'm pinning snow.
I'm always pending snow.
We tried.
We're going later.
That was so cool.
I got 1 year. and
Full on
it's
roller
not-
coaster.
that was-
They moved it over late.
Tom still?
Can I just make, no, if we're wrapping up, I want to just make a quick little statement about something that happened.
That happened what?
in the community, the Oregon community.
Okay, yes.
So if we're wrapping up, I didn't want to. Yeah, I just want to acknowledge the passing of Lincoln County Commissioner Claire
Yeah.
Hall.
Yes.
I didn't know her, but she served as the county commissioner for 21 years. And everything I've heard, she passed away at 66. And the people that I know who did know her spoke so highly of her, and I've been very moved to learn of her leadership. I just wanted to acknowledge her in this moment if I could. Thank you.
Thank you. There was someone else on the news or some other public official who was just died. This is what raised me. I wish I had paid more attention. But anyway. Okay, well, thank you.
Do you know the LSBA election results or is that coming
I
now?
haven't seen those.
Well, for
I
my
haven't seen
part-
those. I know that there was a runoff in Marion County.
Mary.
So I don't know if they're waiting pending those results to announce them all. I did check, I think, the last part of last week, right before we went to the New Year's break. And I didn't see anything updated on the
Okay.
website.
All right.
Florence got it here, but that's Marion Run. Did you say Marion or Multnomah?
I think it was Marion.
Yeah, they have it right now.
I'm gonna let Maria turn off the recording machine.